So 22 minutes just to make it easy for myself. Welcome, everybody. Click. Here's the energy report for September. It was combined with Coffee with Karen, which we show up with our bedheads. So that was posted earlier this morning. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to tell you kind of how this is designed and what kind of information we're going to get first, okay? So we're basically, this is a look ahead report for the month of September 2025, all right? We've got Pendulum guidance from the Lead Team Collective. We have 6 messages from them, okay, for September. We have the current astrology, what's coming up in September. This is all combining the messages. So these are the things that we're using to look at the energy for the month, okay? We are looking at key natal charts of Trump, Vance, the USA, Project 2025, because I do think we need to keep a little bit of a tabs on it. Not in a weird, weird is not the right word, not in a fear-mongering way, but just I think if we can keep tabs on it in these look ahead or look back reports that I'm going to do regularly, if you guys like them, then it will help us get enough information to stay up on things, but not having to watch the news about it and feel, because a lot of that's all fear mongering, And then also natal charts for world cycles. That's all included. Okay. We're going to look at extra political natal charts depending on like different countries, and historical spiritual movement natal charts. Okay. So like, there's a whole bunch of them in there that I pulled. Okay. I'm trying to think like civil rights movement, the women's right to vote movement. Those are kind of political, but I put them under spiritual. And what am I thinking of? I can't think of the words. With the music. They played the music in the 60s. What was that called? That's in there too. So it's just spiritual movement. So that's all a part of these reports. So I just want it to be as well-rounded as possible. Then these reports, the look forward of reports, are going to always pull the trends of current events, political, spiritual, collective events that have been going on over the last 2 or 3 months that are still trending. So it'll help us kind of predict what might we see for the look ahead. Okay. And then the last thing I added, and you guys I'm not going to go over these things every time, but I wanted you to know for the first time we're doing a look ahead report, what I've included. Okay. Because I want to know, is there anything else you think I should include? Okay. So I included the 250-year cycle of the divine feminine rising to see how is that shifting the energy going forward. Okay. So let me know if there's anything else you guys want me to include in these reports. Okay. Okay. So the month, quick overview of the month of September. And then we've got some storylines that may occur, okay? And then we've got how many predictions? I think we have 6 predictions. So I'll try to go over those as briefly as possible. But under the predictions, they might, prove to be too long. We'll have to see, okay? Some of you might enjoy this much detail, and I guess if you don't enjoy, I'll give you the overview real quick. So if people who only want the overview can just get the overview, that's what I'll do. I'll just give you the overview, and then people who want to stick around for the more extensive prediction part, perfect. Okay, so this way we'll balance people who, don't want that much information. So under the predictions, just so you know what you'll get under the predictions, is there'll be a forecast of what this prediction means, hidden agenda behind it, astrology influences, Trump's natal chart, impact. I'm just doing that for now because it's kind of a powerful thing. The perspective from the 3D, helping from the 5D, and the pendulum insight for that prediction. Okay, So the overview bullet points is Trump's instability peaks under the September 7th Pisces lunar eclipse because of his natal chart. It's a huge activation in his chart. So that's gonna show up in the predictions below, okay? More specifically. JD Vance gains momentum behind the scenes as Trump wobbles. Project 2025 continues advancing, but fractures widen under legal and internal strain. Wah, wah. U.S. citizens feel pressure as institutions falter while grassroots networks expand. So some reality, some really positive, okay? Globally, tariffs and shifting alliances create instability, but also opportunities for new coalitions. That's wonderful. Again, we're here now. We know we've been 9 months in now. We know this shit's breaking down, right? It's breaking down so that we can build it back up. Okay. So new coalitions, new grassroots networks expanding. Amazing. Seeing things like Newsom take a different approach to how he's communicating. I just watched a 3-minute clip yesterday. I'll try to remember here. I'll put it below in the description. So let me put this Newsom press conference. It was awesome. He was using, because like Trump's all about like the blue state crimes. He literally had these posters made, these little tiny, like 8.5 by 11 posters made of the red states, including the Speaker of the House's state, on how their crime is actually way worse compared to California. So he kept showing, and he's like, oh, what about this state? And he had the facts on it. It was amazing. I'm like, yes, practical communication. That's what we need. The pushback he's doing is brilliant, at least for now. So that's awesome. Let's see. So spiritually, September emphasizes breathing. So breath work, okay, laughter, and anchoring light as the divine feminine rising deepens. Okay, the pendulum messages for the month. Again, if you're new here, I use a pendulum. I don't have it with me. It's a pendulum map and a swinging thing like this. And the lead team collective, our lead team collective, which is made up of all of our spirit teams, they give me messages. They spell out messages. Okay, so the 6 things they wanted us to know for the look ahead for the whole month of September is, oh shoot. Hang on one second. Okay. So the pendulum messages are just breathe. You will be just fine. Isn't that great? You will be just fine. They literally spelled like they didn't say you will be fine. You will be just fine. Laugh often. Trump is losing his mind. Some of you probably think I'm losing my I don't know if I could continue showing off. Oh my God. Only now, the reason I'm laughing about my hair is because now I'm going to be posting these at like 7 o'clock. So I'm just, like in a year from now, I'm going to look back at these videos and be like, what was I thinking? Okay. So Trump is losing his mind, losing their grip. That was one of the messages. And again, in the predictions below, we're going to tie in how the messages might play out based on the predictions. Okay, that's why this is interesting. And the last one was keeping a hold of the light. Keeping a hold of the light. The crystal recommendations for the month of September are amethyst and black tourmaline. Okay, so amethyst for clarity, calm, and grounding. And black tourmaline, which tends to be that keeps coming up, black tourmaline, because it's protection and energy boundaries. Okay. I think tourmaline is probably a really important one. And thank you. I've had a couple people send me crystals. Thank you so much. I haven't had a chance to show people or personally thank you. But I wanted to, now that I just mentioned that. So they're beautiful. Thank you so much for sending them. So yeah, so the black tourmaline, it's probably a really good thing to have on hand right now anyways, as there's so much stuff changing. Okay. So probably a really good one to get. Okay. So top store potential storylines based on the past 2 or 3 months that are still the events that are still kind of trending. Is Trump's unraveling accelerates under eclipse pressure. And that has to do with his natal chart. Thank you, Faye, for pointing that out. Okay. J.D. Vance positions himself as heir apparent. What? They changed that. I don't, heir apparent, like ready to be the successor type of thing. Project 2025 advances but shows cracks. We like the cracks. The more things crack, boom, then the more likelihood it's, hey, if we're hitting 3D walls like I talked about yesterday, they're just gonna, like we might hit the wall, but they're just gonna, it's like a piece of glass that cracks. Eventually it just kind of falls, in pieces down to the ground. That's how I'm envisioning it. A global pushback on U.S. instability intensifies. Okay. Again, these are predictions based on things that have been going on, plus the astrology for September. All right. So global pushback on U.S. instability intensifies. Light workers, here we are, anchor spiritual steadiness. All right. So that is a good call for us, is to anchor, you might want to write this down, spiritual steadiness. And maybe we'll create, I'll probably start to use these in Coffee with Karen. Some of these things, it's like, why? I mean, why not? I might as well use the report for the month and continue weaving it through conversations. Okay. So I'll try to remember to have that conversation about light workers anchoring spiritual steadiness. We'll kind of use that throughout the month. Okay. All right. Secondary storylines. Tariff-driven inflation pressures households. Okay, not surprising. Okay, so hopefully you've been stocking up on some things that you can afford to. That at this point, I'm not feeling as if things are not going to be on the shelves. I mean, I could be wrong about that, like I was maybe a couple months ago, but now it's just things are just more expensive. Because of the way I'm eating right now, the steak that I've been buying went from $21 a pound to $25 a pound. I'm like, what? But I do think that has to do with, well, it could be just people taking advantage, but Brazil, apparently we get a lot of beef from Brazil, and that's slowing down. And then the farmers in different states are having a hard time because they don't have workers. So there might be a shortage. So yeah, anyways, it's just an example. Okay. Courts continue restraining authoritarian moves. So that's really good. Spiritual and activist voices surge online. Okay, so that's a really cool prediction. Spiritual and activist voices surge online. So pretty cool. Okay, so extends, let's see. Okay, so there is some key astrological dates. It's a little too much information for me, but just know tonight, September 1st, and I'll bring these back throughout the month. Okay. So September 1st, new moon in Virgo resets routines and simplifies. Okay. So that's tonight, new moon. So if you have a new moon ritual that you want to participate in or light a candle, however you want to do that, it resets routines and simplifies. Okay. Okay, so let's move into the predictions then. So those who want a little bit more information. So prediction number 1 for the month in terms of energy. Okay. Collective pause, breathing through the chaos. Okay. So we might see a collective pause and more people, as their vibration rises, I would guess, breathing through the chaos. Okay. September brings heavy, but routines and pauses offer grounding. Okay. So September brings a heaviness, but routines and pauses offer grounding. You can use black tourmaline for that too. And again, the new moon is resetting routines. So people, students are going back to school, right? Some have already started. Our littles in our family have started. They all had their first day of pictures. I've seen all of them, most of them on my side of the family. I'm trying to think. No, we don't have any littles on my husband's side of the family yet that are going to school yet. So except for one big little, Jamie, I'd like to see his first day picture. If she's listening. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so collective pause, breathing through the chaos, what it could mean. Okay, growth of meditation groups, humor used as medicine, and breathe as activism. That's interesting. Hidden agenda, leaders may use patience to stall accountability. Okay, so which is exactly what we've been seeing in the House. You know how Johnson let them go because they don't want to have to deal with the Epstein situation. So that may be, just kind of taking light right now. All right. Let's see. So Trump's natal chart, the September 7th Pisces lunar eclipse activates his sun-moon opposition in a grand cross. Okay, that's too much for me. Overwhelming, destabilizing, potentially life-changing for him. Public perception swings wildly. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so that's around the September 7th. Now, Faye, our community astrologer, had sent me an email about this. Let me read to you because it's quite interesting. I just got to locate it here. Let's see. Okay, so Faye said on September 7th, that's only 6 days away, this eclipse will hit Trump's natal chart in a very powerful and potentially life-changing way. She says, I can't stress enough how important this activation is in his chart. It's called a Grand Cross, and without going into the nitty-gritty, just trust me, this one is huge. Now, she did go into the nitty-gritty a little bit later. She's always kind, separates like, this is what I want you to know, and then here's a lot more detail. So I'm going to synthesize or summarize that detail for you in terms of the September 7th. Or should we just do that later? I'm going to do that later, you guys. I'm going to bring back the September 7th, maybe a couple days before. Let's do that a couple days before, but I'll give you a general flavor in case you're like, don't leave me hanging. Okay. So potentially, based on his chart, exposes hidden truths, forces crisis and reputation, family and identity, high pressure, no escape, karmic confrontation. So we'll go into what that means for America and the collective and that sort of thing based on his chart and basically how to navigate. So I've got some information on that. Okay, so let's go back to the overall looking ahead. And we were on prediction number 1. Okay, so prediction number 1. Okay, so again, collective pause, breathing through the chaos. So it sounds like because of Trump's natal chart, and it sounds like he's going to be in quite a bit of chaos on September 7th, we might be seeing some stuff around then. Okay. All right. Perspective, anchor one daily grounding habit if possible, and use that black tourmaline, you could practice visualize the nation inhaling peace and exhaling fear. What a great suggestion. Inhaling peace, exhaling fear. So if you like any of these, jot them down, and then maybe that's a new little practice you could have for the week or however you want to do it. Okay. So allies, I did ask for angels that we could ask for support in each of the predictions as well. So this would be a time to call upon Archangel Uriel for grounding wisdom and Kuan Yin for compassion. So now I didn't call upon just archangels, but goddesses and gods and, different beings as appropriate. Okay. So Kuan Yin for compassion. The pendulum insight here was appropriate. Just breathe. The guides emphasize steadiness in the storm over rushing change. So steadiness in the storm. So, in the chaos, because this is about chaos, this prediction. So try to stay as steady and grounded as possible rather than rushing and wishing things change as quickly as possible. I think we've all not all, but I have settled in, and I know we've had this conversation. I have settled into the idea that we need to see enough cracks before things can truly be built up way better than they were. Because now I can see we really needed that. So Trump's soul contract's probably doing its job. Didn't have to be as cruel as they are. We know that. But I think, I can kind of see why this might have been important. I'm not supporting the way he's doing it at all. So, okay, prediction number 2, grassroots resilience expand. So that's cool. So we might see that coming into September. Grassroots resilience expanding. Okay. Local networks strengthen as national institutions stumble. Now, in the Golden Future, the book we read by Diana Cooper was the other one we read by her. We love you, Diana. Obviously, I really like your books. And she's got oracle decks too, which are amazing. She's got oracle decks for the Golden Future, and she's got an oracle deck for the Unicorn book too. So we'll be using that throughout the month. Actually, it's probably going to take us a couple months to get through that Unicorn book. So join us anytime you want to. Okay. So anyways, in the Golden Future, I think it was in the Golden Future, plus other things we've been reading, the reset that we're going through, the changes that we're going through are going to put more focus on local. So spiritually, we are going to see us shifting from paying attention to the national stuff, like that's where the support's coming from and has been coming from, to more localized support. Okay. So that people actually get the support they need, and that we're helping each other. We're getting back to more community basically over the next 30 years, by 2030, basically. Okay. No, 2030, that's only 5 years. But 2050 probably. Okay. So between now and 2050, so this actually makes sense to me, is local networks strengthen as national institutions stumble. So based on that reset that we're going through, that kind of makes sense to me and how it's been described. More co-ops, neighborhood aid, ecological healing circles. We might start seeing some of those. Elites may let instability grow to consolidate wealth. Aren't they nice? There's going to be some, not all elites do this. There are some elites that, look at the governor of Illinois. You guys know he's a billionaire, right? As far as I can tell, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but as far as I can tell, he's got good intentions, So, but it's interesting. The hidden agenda behind, about what's going on right now. Elites may let instability grow so that they can continue to consolidate their wealth. How much more frickin' money do you possibly need? It's unbelievable. It's power. It's power. But, karma rebalancing. It's good. They're going to have to deal with that. Okay. So about the grassroots. Let's see. So rely on local support more than national promises. Okay. So just watch, start looking at your own community, where you live, your neighborhood, start paying, I never pay attention to even school boards. I don't have any children, so I never paid attention to school boards, or even the small town I live in, the city government. I think I'm going to start doing that. So, And that would be an encouragement for all of us to start, thinking about that. And then the more you start doing that, the unicorns might be shedding some light on you, because if that's the direction that source wants us going, which is my understanding from, again, all the things I'm reading and from mediums that I've heard from, if source wants us moving in that direction, and that's part of the reset, source wants us localizing and getting back to community. So if we do that, then we're supporting that process, even if you do little things, helping your neighbor out, rather than your neighbor having to rely on federal aid. It'd be nice if they got it, but we can do both, in the meantime. So, but then when you start doing that, if what we read about unicorns is true, they'll start, and that was with Coffee with Karen and the full video that you're watching, that you're not watching now, or no, you could be watching, or you might not be watching. You might be watching just the September report. So anyways, the unicorns, if you do an act of service, they will help shine light on that. So even small ones. Okay. So a 5D practice that you could have for this area in terms of grassroots movements is to send light to strengthen community bonds. And you could call out to Archangel Raphael for healing and Goddess Gaia for resilience. So the pendulum message, you will be just fine, is pulled in here under the grassroots movements. Reassurance that resilience flows bottom up, not top down. Isn't that great? So you will be just fine. We will be just fine. Resilience grows from the bottom up, not the top down. Okay. All right. I really enjoy this. I hope, how do you feel about this? Do you like this report? I think it's helping me feel more grounded. That's my goal. I want to stay aware. You know me, I've been talking about this for a little bit. I want to stay aware of what's going on in the 3D, but I want to stay grounded as much as possible in the 5D, because as we shift, then we can help shift. Because if you're in fear, we can't help shift. It's too hard, because you're just going to actually perpetuate the 3D. And I don't want to sit with this community or facilitate this community from a place of fear. If I ever did, I apologize. It's just because I was freaking out myself. But my goal is to continue facilitating myself and just bringing you along for the ride if you want to go, to, being aware, but, doing what we can to help source bring this whole thing along. Okay. And then we'll get help from the unicorns. Okay. All right. So prediction number 3 for the month, Trump's unraveling peaks. That's interesting. So I don't know. I haven't listened to anybody else's energy reports. I don't know anything at this point about what people are saying for September. You guys will have to let me know if there's any similarities. Okay. I'll probably listen to some of them after this, but I just haven't had a chance to. Okay. So Trump's unraveling peaks. This probably has to do with that September 7th thing. Trump's volatility escalates, contradictions, and erratic behavior peak. I mean, how can it get any more? This is where my slap has... So y'all need to get the slap mug, because I think it sounds like we're going to need it this month. Either that one or this one, Don't look at me. I didn't vote for him. I will always have that mug. We also have a version of that with his little silly hair. No, like I can't criticize hair, but so for those of you who didn't see the slap mug in the previous, if you didn't watch Coffee with Karen version of this video, this is in the shop right now for 40% off. So I just love the look on his face, like, ooh. So, whenever you feel like giving him a good old slap, because, he's just so erratic. Okay, so Trump's unraveling peaks. Let's see. Allies prepare contingencies JD Vance gains leverage. Okay, there's a very good chance. I mean, what is the transition going to be? I will give you a little secret I asked last night. I asked the lead team, maybe I just asked my spirit teams. I was like, you know what, is JD Vance going to be president? And they said yes. And then I said, no, again, things can shift. But I asked, is JD Vance going to be president for the next 3.5 years? And they said no. So something's still in the works for that. Okay, something's still in the works for that. All right. Let's see. GOP elites may allow Trump to collapse, repositioning power. Okay, this is going to be interesting. All right. The astrology influences here, because again, we have that September 7th influence thing going on, is hitting Trump's sun, moon, and nodes, whatever that means. I don't need to know. But it does mean volatility, erosion of control, and JD Vance, they have listed under here as empowerment. Okay, so something, because we're always looking at JD Vance's natal chart as well now. So that's kind of interesting. It kind of goes together. So volatility, erosion of control for Trump, and empowerment for JD. Okay, not that that's better, but hey, it's a step in the right direction. It's a one step in the, it'll be interesting, because here's the thing. MAGA are not supporters of JD Trump or JD Vance, JD Trump. Okay. So as far as I know, they're not supporters of him. So it is a move in the right direction. All right. So, and we're going to have to follow norms, which they're not following the Constitution. So I don't know why anybody else has to, but I'm sure like if something goes down with Trump, if he steps down or whatever, then what would have to happen according to the Constitution is obviously Vance would be in there. But again, my guide said not for the 3.5 years. So fingers crossed. Let's see. Trump's natal impact in terms, again, we're talking about the prediction of Trump's unraveling peaks. This eclipse is massive, potentially life-defining. Public exposure, loss of control, or health stamina crisis possible. Don't waste energy chasing every rant. That's advice for us. Don't waste your energy chasing his rants. Nah, not important. Just use your slap mug. Oh my gosh. If we don't laugh, we cry, right? Okay, so helping from the 5D, hold light to neutralize fear-based chaos, and call upon Archangel Michael for protection, and Goddess Kali for cutting away toxic power. Did you guys know that? Goddess Kali, Kali, but I have a pronunciation here, K-A-H, Kali. Okay, so pendulum, Trump is losing his mind, fits right in here. That was pendulum message. Guides show volatility, collapse, not strength. Okay, prediction number 4. Remember, we have 6 altogether. Prediction number 4, Project 2025 pushes ahead, but cracks show. Heritage, I've actually, this report is pulling the Heritage Foundation's natal chart as well. So we can keep seeing the energy of because we want that energy to, I think I just drooled as I did that. We want to definitely see that energy fizzle as well, so I want to keep an eye on it without keeping an eye on it, if you know what I mean. I want to keep a general idea of what's happening here, but not watch, like I told you, not watch the news about it, the fear-mongering stuff. Okay, so again, Project 2025 pushes ahead, but cracks show. Heritage agenda advances, but divisions and legal pushback surface. Leaks or trial balloons spark backlash. That's silly. I don't like the way that this report was written like that. I'll keep refining. Courts, media resist. Present inevitability despite cracks. Okay, the hidden agenda. Okay. So the astrology for Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation: disruption, blurred truths, that's for this month, resistance, and echoes of women's right to vote plus the civil rights. Okay, so that's some of those natal charts are being pulled in here. So we might see some conversation about not letting women vote coming from it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if they start planting some seeds and some more civil rights movement ideas starting to be planted to strip. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that, because they're disrupting, blurring the truth, resisting those ideas. Okay. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so Trump's chart in this area, Project 2025, his eclipse-driven instability weakens Project 2025's legitimacy. Wah, wah, slap. Oh my God, I can't wait to get that mug. I'm going to have to use it like constantly right now. Wah, wah, slap. That's what we're going to do from now on. We've got bed heads. We've got wah, wah, slap. I don't know why wah, wah needs to be in there, but okay. Though its think tank machinery keeps grinding. Okay. All right. Extends summer rulings and organizing. Stay informed, but avoid despair in this area. This is an area that is really challenging for me, the Project 2025 stuff, because it freaks the shit out of me. Because it is like Handmaid's Tale stuff. If you've watched Handmaid's Tale, then you know what I'm talking about. And it's like, it is freakishly like the whole Christian nationalism thing. And that's like cultish stuff. That's how it's in my brain anyways. Not all Christian nationalists. I mean, just the name is despicable. Christian nationalists. Not all Christians are Christian nationalists. Let's just put it that way. Christian nationalists, like the just term nationalist is just, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. It just doesn't ring very loving, does it? Okay. 5D. So first of all, in the 3D, stay informed, but avoid despair. Okay. So helping from the 5D, visualize their grip loosening. That's an interesting one. Visualize their grip loosening. And I like giving you different ideas in different areas because not everybody's going to want to support, even do any kind of work in light work in this area, but you might want to do something in another area. Okay. So everybody's, this way everybody can pick and choose if you want to do something. Okay. And then the more you do these kind of things, the unicorns will shine their light on you. Okay. In this area, about the Project 2025, you can call upon Archangel Gabriel for clarity and Goddess Athena for justice. Goddess Athena for justice. The pendulum insight here from our lead team, losing their grip. Authoritarian blueprints are already cracking. Wah, wah, slap. Okay. I don't know why I wasn't a comedian. I mean, just kidding. Oh, we know why. All right, prediction number 5, global pushback on U.S. instability. Global pushback on U.S. instability. Allies resist tariffs and erratic leadership, forming new coalitions. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's amazing because I think with new coalitions, even though, I think it was time that the U.S. got a little, it's this whole privilege thing and like everything is always about the U.S. and, and how a MAGA has, this whole like, we're better than you. No, we're not. We're not better than anybody in the world. And this is where we want to unify the world rather than borders and this is mine, not yours, and wars and fighting for all that kind of stuff, you know? So even though I'm in the US and it feels, yeah, I don't like the instability feeling, I have a sense that a lot of countries have felt instability forever because of since World War II, for the approach the US is always taking. So that's probably not new for people outside of the US, is my guess. I don't know that for sure. Those who are outside of the US, you could chime in there. So it's time for us to feel a little bit of that in the US, and so that new coalitions can form that are healthier, is just my take on it. Okay. US leverage wanes. BRICS, EU, Asia ties deepen for this month. Some nations exploit US weakness for authoritarian gains. Okay, so some nations might exploit US weaknesses for their authoritarian gains in their own countries. Because we all know now, we're well aware that there is a far right movement in a lot of countries. There probably is far right groups in every country as there are far left groups in every country, and then middle, you know. I just think the middle stuff needs to just get bigger and bigger and bigger, you know. Okay, astrology influences trade shocks. So we might have some trade shocks, identity crisis. The EU chart under Saturn looks like stress, and Uranus trade strain in China. So there's some strain in China because of their natal chart. Okay. Trump's impact here, his eclipse-driven volatility undermined U.S. credibility abroad. We can see that. That's been going on for a while. Allies lose confidence in Trump-linked leadership. Extends tariff instability of summer. So we're still going to see some of that going into September. So prepare in the 3D, prepare for trade volatility. Okay. So again, just watching your money. That was a message from last month. Watch your money. That's just continue to tighten up on that if you need to. Just, buy what's necessary. Of course, you need to buy the slap. Just kidding. No, don't buy it if you're tight on money. Don't do that. Okay. So let's see. Helping with the 5D practice, send light to amplify cooperation. And you could call upon Archangel Michael for balance. And once again, Goddess Gaia for fairness and resources. Fairness and resources. The pendulum message here is losing their grip. U.S. dominance slips, creating space for balance. U.S. dominance slips, creating space for balance. See, so if the U.S., if we can create space for balance because the U.S. dominance is slipping, I'm okay with that, even though I live in the U.S., It's like, well, if we have to slip a little bit in order to create space for balance, that's beautiful. Okay, in my opinion. Okay, so losing their grip was the pendulum message. Okay, the last one, prediction for September. Then at the end of September, we're going to do a look back on this look ahead. I'm calling them look ahead and look back. And it'll be interesting to see what actually happens. Okay, so light workers anchor the month. I should have put this one up front because I hope a lot of you are still listening. Light workers anchor the month. September's task is to hold steady, not fix everything. Boy, oh boy, is that, that's really letting go of control. I don't know how many of you have had to work on that in your own lives. Letting go of control, not trying to control everything. Yeah, it's definitely been a thing for me. I don't know. Is it a thing for all humans? I don't know. So September's task for us is to hold steady, not fix everything. Prayer circles, healing rituals, spiritual content expands. Fear-based forces attempt to fracture our unity. So that's a hidden agenda for the month for this prediction. Okay. So fear-based forces, that's why we want to be careful. I'm getting less and less, less and less and less. I haven't watched YouTube in a couple days. I almost don't. I want to pay attention like I'm doing here, but I don't want to watch anything that's like, it's fear-based stuff. I'm not interested anymore because I don't want that their fear-based forces to fracture our unity, and I'm just feeling that just overall. So the astrology influences for light workers anchoring the month: karmic release, new beginnings and systems, collective healing, and yeah, that's it. Let's see what they say about Trump's natal chart here under Lightworkers Anchor the Month. This will be interesting. His eclipse triggered unraveling, fuels collective anxiety, okay, but also drives seekers, you and I, to anchor spiritually. So it's that anchoring. Okay, didn't we say anchoring earlier I think we did. Okay, extends 3-month love versus fear theme. Interesting. Protect energy, avoid burnout. So really protect your energy. Go get that black tourmaline. Really protect your energy, okay? And call upon the different, your spirit team, the lead team collective, your personal unicorn, or these different allies that we've been talking about through here, okay? So anchor light daily, even in small ways. You can call upon Archangel Shamuel. I know that's not how you pronounce it. I'll practice that. For love, or Mary Magdalene, you guys, for divine feminine light. Divine feminine light. The pendulum insight is keeping a hold of the light. That was a pendulum message. So keeping a hold of the light, true power is spiritual steadiness, not reacting to every storm. Isn't that a great way to think about that? True power is spiritual steadiness, not reacting to every storm. Okay. All right. So just a few closing insights. September is a hinge point. 2 eclipses plus Trump's Grand Cross is going to show some ripple effects. Okay. Institutions wobble, but grassroots and spiritual networks expand. The pendulum and skies agree. Breathe, laugh, and hold the light. So the pendulum messages match some of the astrology for the month and what they're encouraging us. Breathe, laugh, and hold the light. Okay. A monthly affirmation you could use is I breathe deeply, stay steady, and hold the light. Systems may shake, but resilience rises. Okay. All right. Let me know, you guys. I know my videos are a little longer now, but like I said, I am going to break them. So someone who wants to sit and listen to the whole thing, hello, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. That would be amazing so that we can really keep pulling in the light workers and encouraging each other and develop unity through this, okay, as much as possible. And like I said, I'll divide this up so that you could just listen to the energy reports when they get long like this. Okay. All right. Have a great one, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.